Well, good day to you. I hope everybody's going a good day, a blessed day. I hope it continues blessed for the rest of the day, and tonight, and tomorrow, and every day. My name is James Cooper, and I'm at the website today. I'm doing this video, and it's called the 9th Commandment. It's the 9th Commandment of the 10th Commandment, and I felt this is a very important commandment for us to discuss about and give some insight into it. I have found that there's some people who really didn't understand it. Even though it's self-explanatory, I'm going to try to keep this as short as possible. But we're going to start with Exodus 20, verse 16. This is where you, Exodus 20 is where you'll find all the 10 Commandments, full wording. I'm going to be using the American Standard Version Bible. If you have any Bible you have, King James, NIV, any other Bible, even the Hebrew Bible, and there's other Bibles, a lot of different Bibles. They may have some words that might be a little different. It's a little difference in the wording, not the words, not the wording, but the words themselves and what they mean. And if you really don't understand any of these words that I read off to you, you can find them on any dictionary. Also check out the religious dictionaries also to get a religious point of view of what that word might mean. It may give you more insight into what this is all about. Okay, the ninth commandment says this, Exodus 20 verse 16, "Thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor." I have found that this commandment to be around us every day. You see it on TV, sporting shows, politics, schools, on the job, everywhere. And what it is, it's people's speeches and talks. Everywhere you'll find that there's a sin called the 9th commandment. It seems like a lot of people don't know about it, even in our churches. All religions. And here's a few Bible verses, just a few, and then I'm going to explain to you some other things about this, things that happened to me in my own personal life that people did who were false witnesses saying things about me that was not true. All right, Proverbs 6, verse 16 to 18. There are 6 things which Jehovah, our God, hates, 7 which are an abomination unto him. They have haughty eyes, a lying tongue, hands that shed innocent blood, a heart that devises wicked purposes, feet that are swift in running to mischief, a false witness that uttereth lies, and he that soweth discord among the brethren. Now some of these words means a lot of different things, but one thing, a false witness that uttereth lies. Well, that's the same thing as the 9th commandment. Bearing false witness against your neighbor. And your neighbor is not your next door neighbor. It's not your neighbor upstairs sitting above you in the apartment building or down the street. There's neighbors everywhere. Your neighbor is in your cities, countryside, your state, your whole country, and other countries, the whole world. And this was what is really going on here is that your neighbor is everybody. Love your neighbor as yourself. If you love your neighbor, you wouldn't hurt him. You'll try to help him. You'll pray for him. And that's the last thing you can do is just pray for him. That's loving your neighbor. Not love to pray for him. Hey, I wish you go to hell. You know what I mean? No, you wouldn't wish anything bad on anybody. That's God's job. And God take care of that. That's how I view it. I'm not telling you how to live your life. I'm just telling you what I see in the Bible. I'm going to tell you a story. 2 of them, really. They works with the 9th commandment. The first one is about, I was at the gas station putting gas in my car some years ago. And another member of the church, the guy, he had pulled over and saw a gas pump right in there across from mine. He said, "Hey, how you doing?" We shook hands and all that, and say hello and all that, and God bless you and all those things. And he told me that there was a lady at the church, and we were both members of. She put out to some other people that she saw the pastor, the new pastor, I think he only been there about a year, was seen. She saw him coming out of a store, which the only thing that store sells is beverages. Okay, I think you know what I'm talking about when I say beverages. A liquor store, okay? And she told people she saw him coming out of there with a bag in his hand. Okay, so that went around to different people. Now, this is gossip, tell you the truth. It's pure tea gossip. She told what she saw, but he didn't say anybody was with her. They say they saw it too. It was only her. And she put that out to people at the church, and that went around the church. And the pastor had to eventually come out and says, "Hey, when it got to him, he had to come out and let everybody know that that was not him. That was a mistaken identity. He was not coming out that particular store. Didn't have any bags that came out that store. She saw the wrong person, somebody else. Mistaken identity." But now, by him new at that facility, that church, so this came in question. But now she also comes into question. I came into question with him. Yes, I didn't say nothing to him. I said, okay. When he told me the story. But I think he thought I was going to get into a conversation with him about it, but I didn't. I said, okay. Because he didn't show me any proof. So now he is a bearing witness of something someone else said. And he may have believed her, he may not, I don't know. He didn't give me the name of the person, so I didn't know who the person was. He didn't tell me the name of the person. I never did find out who that person was. But anyway, now he could have been setting me up as spreading a rumor that could have ended up being a false rumor, which means that I would have been a bearer of false witness about the pastor, making him look a little bit bad. But in turn, I didn't do that. I kept that to myself. Okay? I did tell one person what was told to me, and that was my wife. And we both were members at that church. So what did we do from here? I didn't say nothing. I didn't tell nobody at the church, didn't tell any of my friends, only my wife. And she did the same thing I did. We both agreed not to say another word about it. But of course, we heard about it, because we heard that he said that wasn't him. So I figured that her friends, her good friends at the church, my parents maybe, her children maybe, her husband maybe. I don't know how many people she told it at church, but as rumors goes, when one person tells somebody something, they tell somebody else something. And when you keep telling stories, they eventually change a little bit. Yes, they will change a little bit. I had been involved at a class I went to. I think it was 2 different classes, where they gave a paper to the one individual, told them to read it, and then tell another person in secret what was on the paper. One sentence at that. I think it was like a 10-word sentence. This is some years ago, so I think it was about a 10-word sentence. By the time it got to the 10th person, the 10th person read the paper and said, "No, that's not what I was told to me. It's half different. Some words left out, some words added." I did this again at a meeting. And the same thing was about 12 of us that did it. The others just watched. And the same thing happened. Time I got to the last person who was given the information when they read the paper He said, this is not the same thing. So when we, gossiping is what it is, and we start spraying gossiping, things change. You can hurt somebody. You can hurt a marriage. You can hurt people. And I had things happen to me directly. You may have too. If you look at the way I'm talking about it. Me personally, I have been called a drug addict. Yes. Before, not long after me and my wife got married, several times in the first year or so of our marriage, somebody came and said, oh, you married that drug addict. I was never a drug addict. I never did cocaine. I never did crack. I never did heroin. Yes, when I was in Vietnam, I did smoke a little bit of a few times of marijuana. I had smoking marijuana, but not every day. I didn't get out of bed and smoke marijuana, just something I did now and then. The same thing with alcohol. I was a social drinker. Didn't get drunk. No, I don't think anybody ever saw me drunk in the streets or in a bar or staggering down the street or anything like that. Not me. But that gossip, I always say gossip, lies, whatever you want to call it, was put out about me. And I was pretty well sure who the person was that started it. But that's okay. And don't think that I never was seriously high on any drugs at all. Okay? Maybe once or twice in my life. But I was nowhere out in public. I was not out in public. At a party maybe. At home. Or at a neighbor's house. But not out in the streets. No wild parties. That was not me. But I was much younger. I was a young man at that time. So those things can happen. And I think there was one lady said something to her. I said, well, my wife started hearing things like that. But she didn't believe it. But she was gullible enough to believe that someone said to her, because we knew each other for about 2 years before we were married. Yeah. We didn't have our first child until about a year after we were married. Yeah, we was together for a long time. Actually, I knew her maybe about 4 or 5 years prior, well, about a few years before we started dating. Yeah, I knew her for maybe a year or two before we even started going out and talking. We just passed by because we lived near the same area, apartment building. And we didn't get involved with nothing except hi and bye as we passed by, until eventually we started to have no conversations. So she knew something about me and I knew something about her. Okay? She never saw me drunk. As a matter of fact, the only time we had something to drink was when we was at a restaurant that served a little wine or something with a meal. That's all. But came back to her, I was alcoholic. Asking her why she married a drug addict, an alcoholic. I think there was somebody who was trying to start problems in our relationship between me and this woman I was married to. Okay? So I don't know where that person got her information, because I didn't know her. She was a neighbor at that, where the house we bought. She was one of our neighbors. Now, I didn't know the lady. Never met her before. But yet she knew things about me that I didn't know about me. So, that's how people spread gossip and rumors and false accusations. And according to the 9th commandment, that our God, who created all things, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, He wanted to put that in the rocks for Moses to take to the people and give the people the law, the commandments. So that's what happens there. So when somebody starts doing things like that, they're breaking a commandment. They're breaking a big one. It goes a long ways. And let me show you another way it goes also. When someone is doing something, and doing something bad, and you say, I ain't worried about it, it ain't got nothing to do with me. Are you condoning it or not? And in a class I taken many years ago, a religious class. It was brought out about pornographic movies, XXX stuff, and how when you're watching this stuff, you're condoning what they're doing. Yeah, I've been guilty. Years ago when I was young, I was a wild one in certain areas. Until I started learning things. I was taking classes, getting training also, doing a lot of reading. And one of the things was in Romans 1, verses 28 to 32. This one instructor at the class I was in, it was about 20, 25 of us. And it reads this. I'm going to use the American Standard Version once again. And I'll read the whole thing, 28 to 32. And even as they refused to have God in their knowledge, God gave them up unto reprobate mind to do those things which are not fitting, being filled with all the unrighteousness, wickedness, covetousness, maliciousness, full envy and murder, strife, deceit, and whispers. And remember what I just said, covetousness? Well, that's part of the 10 Commandments, covet. And now the next verse in this category was backbiters, hateful to God, insolent, haughty, boastful, inventors of evil things, disobedience to the parents, without understanding, covenant breakers, without natural affection, unmerciful. And who, knowing the ordinance of God, that they that practice such things are worthy of death, not only do the same, but also consent with them that practice them. So, with this gentleman, when I first got to the understanding of these verses right here, consenting to sin is watching pornography movie when people are doing things that it's really prostitution and sexual acts and adultery, fornication, the whole bit, all of it. And when you go out and buy these videos, that's like consenting to, hey, it was okay for them to do that so they give you some pleasure watching them. Okay. So you got to watch yourself with that. So consent with them that practice these things. So someone who's practiced always going around gossiping. And if they ain't got proof of this gossip's good, oh, I seen so-and-so do this, or I know about that, or whatever, whatever. That's gossip. And gossip can be breaking the 9th commandments, doing sin. And when you sit there and listen to them and say, okay, hey, how about that? Well, when they tell you this gossip stuff, well, what are you going to do? You can call and tell the person. I mean, it's up to you how to handle that. I can't tell nobody how to handle that situation. How to handle it with that gentleman at the gas station who told me what happened. This lady who put out a rumor about the pastor. I just said, okay. I didn't get in a conversation with him about it. He did look at me kind of strange because I didn't go far with it. Because I understood that this gossip can hurt people. Because I had been down that road myself where people had done that to me, and it wasn't even true. And I don't know if he could have been setting me up to spread that gospel. It may not have been true. See if I would be the one to spread it. Okay? And the lady who said she saw all this, hey, she could have been out just trying to hurt the reputation of the pastor. So we don't know. So without proof, what's true and what's not true, when you don't have proof. So when there's no proof, I leave it alone. And listen to what the man said, and that's as far as I let it go. Now, there's another verse in Exodus. There's another verse here in Exodus 23, verse 1. Thou shalt not take up a false prophet. Thou shalt not take up a false report. Put not thy hand with the wicked to be an unrighteous witness. Now, I had heard one pastor at a church I was going to. He came out. Well, several churches I had. One I was visiting, yeah, one I was another church I was a member of. So they try to stop gossiping, but never explain why. Okay? Want people to stop gossiping. That's important, because you never know what's the truth that you're getting yourself pulled into. Could hurt someone. Now, a few examples are straight out lying on any issue about someone or something. Doesn't have to be a person that they're sending rumors about. Could be something to somebody selling and say, oh, that ain't no good, that person can't do that. Well, they just put bad mouth on someone and they don't know if it's true or not. You know, sometimes we buy something like a car, and one car runs good for 5, 6, 7 years, and somebody else have a car that has problems. So condemning all that make and model cars, well, that's bad mouthing the car and the company that makes it. So, you know, we have problems. We got to watch how we bad mouth people and bad mouth other things. And telling half the truth about a subject or a person or a book, anyway, telling just half of the truth of what it was all about is meant to mislead other people to knowing all of the truth. And that's just about the same as telling somebody a lie. Okay? And it's about the same thing. That's how I see it. You probably see it differently. And then we have another truth. I'm not going to go far with this. Criticizing another person. Weaknesses or their abilities. So your strengths and abilities would appear better than the other person or people. Yeah. Criticizing. Because a lot of times some criticisms are not warranted, and some of them not even needed or wanted. It may not always be true. I won't go further with that one. I think you understand where I'm coming from with that. Now, telling others gossip about another person without proof of evidence while believing their friends or family members and their words was correct. They would believe it because they're family and good friends of that person. Could be their husband, their wife, their mother, their father, their children. Well, that person said it. They probably would believe it. This can harm a person's reputation, break up friendships, harm a marriage. Oh yeah, harm a marriage. I've heard some things about that people have said that could not be proven, but said it about some guy who did this, and this. They seen it, and then they had no proof that it happened, but they sure put it out there. And much more, which is part of the 9th commandment. All this is against the 9th commandment, folks. So we have to be careful what we do in our lives and what we say. We have to utter the truth. We can't speak the truth. We should not speak at all. If we can't show proof, then we should keep it to ourselves. Maybe that lady what I started with that first time, but say she saw the pastor come out that liquor store, and I say it like it is, come out this liquor store. She should have approached the pastor herself when she saw him at church the next time or whenever, or on the street that day, I don't know, and have a little conversation with the pastor. Now, whether pastor probably would have denied it, because he denied it to everybody else that when he found out about that little rumor that went around about him. So he denied it. So, because her best thing to done was to talk to him before she told anybody else. That's a good question, isn't it? So I step back once I start hearing gossip about somebody, because I know it has happened to me. I know it's happened to some other people. But I had to learn that 9th commandment covers all that. Starting problems. Yes, it starts problems. So I just want to let you know about that. So I'm going to keep this short. So if you have any questions about this, at the website, go to contact us, and you can just send in there what you say and feel, or you say, well, I'm wrong about this and this, or I had the wrong passages in the Bible, or anything like that. Send it to me. I'll make changes. I'm flexible. I'm not perfect. But God gives me something, and I learn something. And one of the things I've felt for many, many years, I have this website. I have asked nobody for one dime. God is supporting that website. God has gotten me the money to have this website. And this is not my first one. I have changed. This is about the third one in the last 25 years. I'll keep them. Then I'll move on to a better website, a better location. Things look better. And put better things on there. Make sure the websites are always up. They're so that the website is up 24/7. But I don't ask for money. I trust God. Let God take care of it. I'm not out here to ask for money. And the reason why I say that, there was a time when I was much younger, I said, boy, you can be rich. Be a preacher. I don't say that anymore. I'm not trying to get rich. Freely I've received this information. Freely I got the knowledge and understanding. So freely I give. Okay, I have that on the website, and freely I give. So I don't ask for anything. So if you have any communication, just go to contact us and we'll put it there. Other than that, read some other things. I have some audio files, and there will be more. This will be the first video file I put out. After all, out in the last 20, 25 years, this is the first time I did videos. So, some reason I ended up with a camera and some other equipment, recording equipment I had to do this. So I decided to go ahead and do it. I prayed about it. Yes, I prayed. I prayed before I did this video. I prayed. And I advise everybody, before you listen to videos of other people, audios too, say a prayer. Ask for God to open up your mind and heart to the truth, and not something that's not the truth. Okay? So I'm going to end this here. I hope you have a blessed day. And I hope God be with you and bless you. Take care of your needs. Heal your sore knees, aches, back aches, hip aches, foot aches. And help God ease your pain. Heal you. So I'm going to walk in peace, and I hope we all walk in peace. And don't be afraid to pass things on. That's how I used to be. You knew something but didn't pass it on. So I through time, the Holy Spirit worked with me. Jesus worked with me to do some work for the Father. Do some work for everybody. Jesus wanted us to spread the word, and that's what I'm doing. I'm trying to spread some truths, some misunderstandings, and I'm learning as I go. I don't stop going to any kind of class or school, taking courses. Always got to learn. You might learn something new and different. Learn something and get better understanding. And that's what this is all about. You have a blessed day, blessed night, and I hope you have another day tomorrow and being blessed. Wake up fresh and happy in who you are with God. Peace.